Hello everybody, Thomas here, and welcome back to SFF180. It is Monday, March the 26th, and time once again for the mailbag. And I'm sorry, I've been playing hooky from the channel for a little bit lately. Maybe it's been about a week and a half since I've posted any new content. I apologize for that. No mailbag last week because the week before was pretty dead, and part of that may have been a problem with at least one of my publishers. I got an email from one of them, a publicist at Tor, who had said, I guess had been watching the mailbags, like, have you been getting any stuff from us lately? Because I sent you this, and I sent you this, and I was like, no. And we checked, and apparently there was maybe an address thing, so now I'm guessing that they've resent a bunch of things, because I got a big care package from them, which is part of this batch and all that, so who knows? But anyway, it looks like the mailbag is back in business, hopefully, to norm. Also, in terms of my reading, I've been ignoring BookTube SFF Awards stuff, unfortunately. I've been concentrating most of my reading on The Terror by Dan Simmons. I decided to do a reread of that just for my own pleasure. I mean, I'll probably get a review of it up on my website, but I've been reading that in anticipation for the miniseries, which starts tonight on the 26th on AMC. I'm very excited about that. Don't know anything about what it's doing in other territories in terms of when and where it's playing, but I'm really, really excited for that. And also in conjunction with reading The Terror, I've been reading a book called Ice Ghosts, which is a nonfiction account of the search for the Franklin expedition. So suffice it to say, my brain is right now marinating in the Franklin expedition. And that's just what I've been doing for the last week and a half in terms of my own reading, to just kind of, sometimes I need that. Just do a little something for me. But we're back in business. Look for a bunch of new content, probably another video tomorrow that's well overdue, a review. I'm going to be doing a new Babbles, like Top 5 Wednesday kind of thing. That goes Wednesday. New daily shorts on Thursday. Hopefully another video maybe Saturday. So a lot of this stuff that has just been built up, and I'm just like doing marathon recording sessions right now to get a lot of this stuff out, and it feels good to do that. So stay tuned, because things are happening. All right, enough announcement babble. I've probably gone on for 5 minutes. Let's get into these books and see what we have, shall we? And this first one comes from Macmillan Holdings. Yeah, so maybe a Tor thing, who knows? Aha, okay. This is an ARC from Tor. And in fact, just got an email with a NetGalley widget for this as well. So this is a book called Game of the Gods, and it's a debut. The author is Jay Schiffman. And it's being compared to the A-Team and X-Men in an exotic futuristic setting. Great adventure with many layers. Okay. Game of the Gods, which comes out on July 10th. It's an epic debut of a man willing to tear a corrupt society apart in order to save his family, all right? Despite his prowess as a military commander and judge, Max Cone, that's his name, longs for a life outside the political spotlight. His wish turns to dust when the world descends into a cataclysmic global war. That would inconvenience anybody. I am entirely sympathetic towards Max. Every nation wants Cone on its side, for some reason, but his only priority is rescuing his kidnapped wife and children, of course. In order to find his family, free his friends, and save his people, Cone becomes a lethal killer, willing to destroy anyone who stands in his way. He and his ragtag band of warriors, a 13-year-old girl with special powers. Somebody been watching Logan, you think? A mathematical genius, a religious zealot blinded by faith, and a former revolutionary turned drug addict are the only hope of saving the world. Schiffman adds his own spin to the science fiction genre that will both please longtime SFF fans and leave those just discovering it wanting more. All right, well, there you go. Game of the Gods comes out 10th of July. Yeah, who knows? Could be fun if you like this sort of thing. But does sound very, it does very much sound Logan-inspired and MCU-ish and all that sort of thing. But it might be fun for all that. But on July the 10th, as I said, Game of the Gods by Jay Schiffman, debut novel from Tor. Next up, this feels like a random Penguin hardcover of some kind. And this is a book called Shadow Call. It comes out April the 17th. And this is probably one I should have been paying attention to because the prequel, the first book in this series, was called Shadowrun. I was sent Shadowrun, I have it up there. The authors are Adrienne Strickland and Michael Miller, and I'm always in the mood for a good space opera, right? And even though this is YA, but still, doesn't matter. Fans of the Lunar Chronicles and the Starbound series by Amy Kaufman will not be able to put down this addictive read filled with action, intrigue, and romance. Of course, it's got to have that, because it's YA. All right, what can I say that won't give too much away? Probably not a whole lot, but you have the character named Cole. She's the youngest starship captain on her homeworld of Alexak, and has spent her life hunting a dangerous energy source called Shadow. Alaxans distrust and avoid the galaxy's royalty as a rule, but Cole is now harboring the exiled prince Navarian Dracourt, along with some very conflicting feelings about her decision and him. Ain't that the way? Oh, okay. It says it's for fans of Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff's Illuminae. Pierce Brown's Red Rising, and the Star Wars series. Shadow Call is an edge-of-your-seat thrill ride. Okay, so it's that kind of a book. That kind of a YA adventure. First one was Shadowrun, and now Shadow Call, which comes out on April the 17th. Okay, now we have a thinner, more lightweight Random Penguin package. So let us see what we see. Aha, and here it is, Before Mars, finished copy from Ace Books of Emma Newman's third Planetfall novel. Following Planetfall and After Atlas, we now have Before Mars. No, is there a... Yeah, no sell sheet. April title, obviously. So let's just have a look, see what I can read from the back. Can I read anything that doesn't spoil? After months of travel, Anna Kubrin finally arrives on Mars for her new job as a geologist and de facto artist in residence, and already she feels she is losing the connection with her husband and baby at home on Earth. In her room on the base, Anna finds a mysterious note painted in her own hand, warning her not to trust the colony psychiatrist. A note she can't remember painting. When she finds a footprint in a place that the colony AI claims has never been visited by humans, Anna begins to suspect that she is caught up in an elaborate corporate conspiracy, or is she losing her grip on reality? Anna must find the truth regardless of what horrors she might discover or what they may do to her mind. Well, there you have it, Before Mars, Emma Newman, April release from Ace Books. Right, okay, and this next one is a big, chunky envelope that feels like it has at least 3 books in it. This is the result of that email exchange with my tour person. So we'll see. Some of these may be titles that have now been out for a little while, so let's just see what we have. Yep, that's exactly what it is. It's 3 new Tor hardcovers, newish. The first of these is Good Guys by Stephen Brust, which I believe came out at the beginning of March. Yeah, think so. Now, this is Stephen Brust's first solo novel that isn't a Vlad Tautos novel in quite a few years. And it apparently is sort of a humorous kind of urban fantasy riff. Let's see. They can teleport, stop bullets, and read minds, but they're the good guys, aren't they? Donovan was shot by a cop for jaywalking, supposedly. Actually, for arguing with a cop while black. 4 of the 9 shots were lethal, or would have been if their target had been anyone else. The Foundation picked him up, brought him back, and trained him. Lethal turns out to be a relative term when magic is involved. When Marcy was 15, she levitated a paperweight and threw it at a guy she didn't like. The Foundation scooped her up for training too. Hippie chick Susan got well into her Foundation training before they told her about the magic, but she's as powerful as Donovan and Marcy now. They can teleport themselves thousands of miles, conjure shields that will stop bullets, and read information from the remnants of spells cast by others days before. They all work for the secretive Foundation for minimum wage, which is okay, because the Foundation are the good guys, aren't they? Okay. This sounds really cute, and this sounds like something I would actually really enjoy. But Good Guys by Stephen Brust is available right now. Now, the next of these is Fire Dance. It's a new book by Alana C. Meyer, and whose previous book, set in this world, was Last Song Before Night, which I have to admit I was a little disappointed by, mainly by the way it ended. You know, by the way she wrapped it all up. But I liked the world, and I liked the whole premise behind the thing. It's this kind of, it's this society where magic is done through music in a lot of ways, but women are prohibited from entering any sort of musical profession. but you know, the main character is this woman who does it anyway. And so that was that story. Now, I'm not entirely sure if Fire Dance is a direct sequel or another novel that just, again, happens to be set in the same universe. It is a direct sequel because same character. All right, now this is, again, no sell sheet, but this is an April title, so I suspect that this one will probably be out either next week or the week after. Lynn Amaristoth, newly initiated in the art of otherworldly enchantments, is sent to aid her homeland's allies against vicious attacks from the Fire Dancers, mysterious practitioners of strange and deadly magic. Forced to step into a dangerous waltz of tradition, treachery, and palace secrets, Lynn must also race the ticking clock of her own rapidly dwindling life to learn the truth of the Fire Dancers' war and how she might prevent death on a scale too terrifying to contemplate. Well, actually, it sounds like it could be a mix of both, because it's the same character, but the plot synopsis sounds like it's a whole new story that can be read on its own. Who knows? Anyway, Fire Dance, Ilana C. Meyer. Despite being somewhat disappointed by the first book, I'm very eager to try this. The cover is stunning, if nothing else, and this will be out in April from Tor. And then this is finally turned up. This was a February title, so stuff was definitely missing me somehow. But this is Semiosis. It's a debut novel by Sue Burke, debut science fiction, and it looks very cool. And it says, sentience takes many forms. Very brief synopsis here. Colonists from Earth wanted the perfect home, but they'll have to survive on the one they found. They don't realize another life form watches and waits. Can the colonists learn to communicate with the planet's sentient species and forge an alliance to prove that humans are more than mere tools? Okay, so first contact scenario. Haven't had a good old-fashioned first contact book in a long time. Maybe this is a new-fashioned first contact book. But Semiosis has now out for a little while now from Tor Books, but finally here in the SFF180 library. So let me know in the comments. Ooh, okay. Very, very excited about this. You can't really tell because it's got one of those ARC covers that doesn't have the actual book cover art, but this is an ARC for The Cloven by B. Catling, or Brian Catling, and this is the third and final book in the Vor trilogy. Now, I absolutely loved the Vor. It was an amazing bit of new weird. The fact that I haven't already reviewed the Erstwhile, which was the second one, is kind of embarrassing to me. I need to get caught up with that. But now we have the Cloven, and this comes out July the 17th. And anyway, the Vor, it's this story. It's about colonialism and all kinds of other things, and it is set. Well, I'll just read it. Catling once again interweaves historical events with the creations of his wild imagination. The Vor is this massive forest full of strange life that exists somewhere in Africa. And it says, here it's World War II. As war looms over London and Germany, gears up to begin the Blitz. Only Nicholas the Erstwhile senses the danger to come. Okay, so simultaneously in the realm of the Vor, the colonial city of Essenwald gives up all its secrets as the ancient forest seeks to reclaim what has been taken from it. Those who have been enslaved shall be no longer, and two heroes once thought dead shall reemerge stronger than ever. The Cloven is a book of battles and betrayals in which Catling's mind-bending creations, there you go, Thomas, mind-bending, fulfill their destinies and lead the reader to the epic climax with the fate of mankind hanging in the balance. Okay, yeah, really, really excited about this. What I liked about the first one was the way, kind of like The Terror, where it interweaves actual historical figures and events with this purely fantastic narrative. So, really eager to read this, but this comes out on July the 17th from Vintage Books. Okay, this is an ARC from Harper Voyager. This is one that I've actually seen on Edelweiss. It's a book called Awakened. The author, or one of the authors, is James S. Murray, better known as Murr of True TV's immensely popular Impractical Jokers program. Me not being a big television person, that means nothing to me. And veteran sci-fi and horror writer Darren Wehrmouth. This thrilling new novel, years in the making, is the launch of a series in the vein of Guillermo del Toro's The Strain, set in New York City, in which a beautiful new subway system unearths an ancient dark horror bent on the city's utter destruction. Okay. After years of waiting, New York's newest subway line is finally ready, an express train that connects the city with the burgeoning communities across the Hudson River. The shining jewel of this state-of-the-art line is a breathtaking visitor's pavilion beneath the river. Major dignitaries, including New York City's mayor and the President of the United States, are in attendance for the inaugural run as the first train slowly pulls in. Under the station's bright ceiling lights, Why would the president come to like a subway opening? Must be a really special subway. Under the station's bright lights, the shiny silver cars gleam, but as the train comes closer into view, a far different scene becomes visible. All the train cars are empty, and all the cars' interiors are, dun dun dun, drenched in blood. Sorry. As chaos descends, because chaos never arises, it descends, all those in the pavilion scramble to get out. But the horror is only beginning. High levels of deadly methane fill the tunnels. The structure begins to flood. For those who don't drown, choke, or spark an explosion, another terrifying danger awaits. The thing that killed all those people on the train. It's out there and coming. There's something living beneath New York City, and it's not happy that it's been woken up. What a typical New Yorker it is. Okay, that sounds like it could be goofy fun. All right, if you catch it in the right frame of mind. But it comes out June the 26th, Awakened by James S. Murray with Darren Wearmouth. Now, awakened and desperately needs its first cup of coffee, sounds like. Okay, 2 more. And a little white envelope. Macmillan title of some kind. All right, this looks very nice. This is something called Metamorphica. And the author is Zachary Mason. Last year had a book come out called Void Star, which I really meant to read that, and so I should still. But this is a new novel, which comes out on July the 10th, and this is from the publisher of Jeff Vandermeer's publisher. Okay, so that's kind of nice. But let's see, in Metamorphica, this looks like a literary fantasy. Zachary Mason mines Ovid's epic poem The Metamorphosis, and repurposes its stories as building blocks for a series of gem-like and original new reinventions. Okay, so hopefully you won't need to know your ancient literature, but thematically arranged so they flow artfully from one to the next, Mason gives us surprising and strange new renditions of Echo and Narcissus and Orpheus and Eurydice. He takes us to the siege of Troy, with dreamlike yarns about Paris, Ajax, Helen, and Achilles, and he revisits the world of ancient Crete with visions of Theseus, Daedalus, Icarus, and Minos. At times, Mason even turns Ovid, the Roman poet whose abiding work has been the source material for countless artistic interpretations over the centuries, into a character in this mythic tapestry. Okay. And A Void Star, described as an ambitious science fiction narrative in the tradition of William Gibson. And so Metamorphica, it says, is closer in spirit to his book before that. But okay, all right. I like this sort of literary reinvention as a premise for literary fantasy. So yes, I'll be very happy to give this one coverage. But this comes out, as I said, on July the 10th. Metamorphica by Zachary Mason. I mean, it doesn't have any bloody subway monsters, but it will do. Okay, this final one, okay, this is another package from Blackstone Audio, which, you know, misleading name notwithstanding, they are also Blackstone Publishing, apparently. I've gotten a few things from them. Let's see what this is. Well, if nothing else, they really package their books beautifully. But this is something called Lost, and the authors are PC Cast and Kristen Cast, whom some of you will know if you like sort of paranormal fiction. This is book 2 of something that I was never sent book 1 of, so for my purposes it just might be moot. But in any event, if you're a fan of these authors and if you know this series, well then you may be very happy to see this. It comes out on July the 10th. It's the second book in something called the House of Night Other World. House of Night Other World series. That's awkward. But if you're, I guess, a fan of the cast's fiction, that might mean something to you. But anyway, you have this character named Kevin who I guess comes back to his hometown. He says he finds friends and allies, some expected, some unexpected, and soon discovers he, like his sister, can wield old magic with a CK. But without a mentor to help him, will Kevin be tempted to embrace darkness? Well, what do you think at home, ladies and gentlemen? All right, so it's this kind of paranormal fiction, apparently. And like I said, comes out July the 10th. The first one was called Loved, okay, so that kind of tells you what to expect. But this is Lost, so if you're a fan of this sort of thing, then this is that sort of thing. From Blackstone. And that is it this week for the mailbag. Back in business. A couple of those titles looked kind of interesting to me, but what say you, viewers at home? You know the drill. Hit those comments. Let me know which of these looks most interesting and exciting to you, which you would like to see me prioritize for review. Otherwise, if you enjoyed watching, leave a like, share the video far and wide with all your SFF reading friends, and above all, please sub. If you haven't done so, that's how the channel grows, inching towards 5K, as always. So thanks so much for the support. You can also support the channel at my TeePublic store and at my Patreon, where it recruits into Wink's army, and I just got a new one last week. Welcome, new recruit. Get little perks like getting to see these videos a day early, things like that. So I want to thank them for their additional support. I want to thank you for being awesome and amazing viewers, as always. And until I see you next time, happy reading.